Welcome everyone to this session on breaking the barriers between sales and finance teams. My name is Raj Sabhlok. I'm the president of Zoho Corp. I'm also evangelist for our Zoho Books application. Zoho Books is Zoho's application for accounting and finance. Additionally, I've had responsibilities during my career for both sales organizations and finance organizations. And I understand firsthand the issues and frustrations that can arise when data and information is not in sync between sales applications and finance. Let's take a look at some of the issues that sales and finance have to wrestle with when systems are not connected, as well as some possible solutions. First, let's talk about the focus of sales teams as well as finance. Obviously, sales organizations are focused on closing deals, building their pipelines, and overall customer satisfaction. Finance teams, on the other hand, are focused on accurate accounting, timely reporting, and cash flows, and the overall financial health of the business. While these seem like disparate goals and focuses, there is one common point of interest for both organizations, and that's revenue. Sales in terms of generating revenues, and finance in recording revenues. But what happens when CRM and accounting apps don't talk? And CRM, of course, is a customer relationship management tool or application for sales professionals. Well, first, there's practical issues that arise when these two systems are disconnected. We've all been a part of situations where we're looking for customer information, and it is seemingly different across applications. You enter in a customer in one application, and it pops up, and then you go to the next application, and because it has been keyed in differently, it doesn't pop up. So, the rekeying of information is one practical issue. Transactional data. And by this, I'm talking about invoices, estimates, and quotes that are often inconsistent across applications. The sales representative sees one document for invoices, and finance sees another. And historically, since these applications have not been connected, what happens is a sales rep will enter in a quote or an estimate and then has to physically or walk over the transaction to be entered into finance. And inevitably, there's errors in that whole process. Also, lack of visibility into customer financials from a sales perspective. Oftentimes, sales reps are working hard to close a large transaction with a customer, only to find out that they haven't paid their past 5 invoices. So all their effort is for naught because finance will not let them book another transaction with a customer that is not creditworthy. Ultimately, these issues can also lead to poor customer service. Left untreated, so to speak, these more systemic problems arise. Data integrity issues can be a cause for poor decision making as well, and accounts that are inaccurate. Ultimately, in a worst case scenario, companies and businesses with disintegrated systems can lead to filing violations, whether it be IRS filings or even SEC filings for public companies. If you still don't believe this is a problem, take a look at some interesting statistics here. Recently, in the Wall Street Journal, an article stated that revenue recognition is the leading cause of restatements. Another way of looking at this or stating this is this occurs when CRM systems don't talk to accounting systems. We went over a number of examples where sales reps may be selling to customers that don't have credit or have credit terms that are not consistent with what finance believes they are. We've also talked about situations where a sales representative enters an order in one fashion and it enters into the finance system in another. These are all situations that lead to revenue recognition problems, and it has been proven, as you can see from this statistic here in the Wall Street Journal, it is the leading cause of restatements. And a more personal note for executives that are out there, restated financials is one of the top reasons for chief sales officers and chief financial officers to lose their job. So I'd submit businesses need to have a systems integration strategy or risk business or reputation loss. But is that possible today? The reality is, purported integrated systems have been available for a long time. Here you see some of the legacy providers of integrated systems, SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, just to name a few. The problem with these solutions is that they're complex and require organizations to have deep knowledge in technology, large IT organizations, and deep pockets as well, as these systems can tend to be very, very expensive. Taking a further look at legacy ERP systems, ERP standing for Enterprise Resource Planning Systems or Integrated Systems. In this study by ArchPoint, they looked at a medium-sized company and average pricing for a medium-sized company for an ERP system. As you can see, per user costs are quite cost prohibitive, anywhere between $2,000 and $4,000 per user, the study indicates. Throw in another 10 to 35% in additional third-party products, and another 5 times that amount for implementation and customization. Bottom line, software and service costs for a medium-sized company can range anywhere from $150,000 to $750,000. That's quite daunting for many, many companies. But there is a viable alternative. And that's where Zoho's applications come in. In particular, Zoho CRM and Zoho Books. Many of you may be familiar with Zoho CRM, a leading customer relationship management application. And I just mentioned Zoho Books, Zoho's accounting and finance application. The integration between the two can really go a long ways to breaking down the barriers between sales organizations and finance organizations. Let's take a closer look at what sales can gain from the integration between Zoho CRM and Zoho Books. First off, sales are now able to get a 360-degree view of the customer. Historically, a CRM user would have access to information such as the account name, the contact information, address, potentials, pipeline information, historical transactions, yet they didn't have access to customer financial data. Additionally, they didn't have the ability to create estimates and orders that would automatically be populated into the finance system or accounting system. And as we discussed earlier, one of the biggest causes for disparate numbers between these two systems is that information has to be rekeyed into both applications. By integrating Zoho CRM and Zoho Books, we eliminate the rekeying of information. Another problem that is solved with Zoho CRM and Zoho Books integration is up-to-date price lists. Oftentimes, the sales rep will make a quotation to a customer only to find out that the price has changed and is not in agreement with what finance thinks the price list is for that particular product or service. With the integration, there is one common price list between both sales and finance. Finally, a sales rep is able to check payment status on their customers, knowing immediately whether the customer is creditworthy or not. Let's look at finance and accounting as an organization and what they gain from integrating Zoho Books and Zoho CRM. So again, the finance organization is able to achieve a single view of sales and finance data. So not only does finance have the traditional view of the financial information, they can also peer into the CRM and find more information about the customer and transactions and potentials that are in the pipeline. And probably most importantly with this integration, accountants and finance professionals are able to see and set up triggers and workflows to ensure data integrity. I'll show you one example coming up in an upcoming slide, but basically this enforces rules between sales entry and finance entries such that consistent data is achieved throughout the organization, making sure that the accounts are accurate and the business is in compliance. Let's take a closer look at some of this integration in some screenshots. So first off, one of the features of the integrated solution is being able to sync contacts between Zoho CRM and Zoho Books. Not only can you take all contacts and import them into your accounting application, but you have the ability to take select contacts or selected views and populate that into the accounting application Zoho Books. Secondarily, we can synchronize transactional data. Looking at the screenshot, you see on the top half invoices that have been created and sent by finance and is displayed within the CRM. We'll take a closer look at that in an upcoming demo. On the bottom half of the screenshot, we see an estimate that is pending and will be processed over time and updated as an invoice as the sales rep closes the business. So I talked about triggers and workflow. Here's one example of a workflow that can be set up between Zoho CRM and Zoho Books. So the scenario goes like this. The sales rep creates a quotation for the customer. And you see that in the upper part of the screen. Then the sales rep has won the deal. They close out the transaction. Zoho Books is automatically updated and converts the quotation into an invoice. The invoice is then sent to the customer, and then from a 360-degree closed loop, the invoice is updated in the CRM as well. And this is a view of that 360-degree customer view that I just mentioned. In the background, we see Zoho Books, and you can see the highlighted box to the right of that screenshot where we see the customer, Charles Stone, and his information as it is represented within the CRM. And you can see, as you look down to the middle of that box, that the finance team now has visibility to not only the customer information, but potential business that is in the pipeline. In the foreground screenshot, you see Zoho CRM, an account, the same account, Charles Stone, and the integrated Zoho Books financial information in the box where you see the customer's receivable information and other financial information related to Charles Stone. So let's take a look at this integration a little bit closer. So first off, for those of you that are not familiar with Zoho Books, This is the first screen or dashboard that appears when the accounting professional logs in to Zoho Books. It's a very modern, elegant user interface with a dashboard that gives you an overview of the business's financials and the salient points that represent the health of the business. So for example, here I see total receivables. Here to the right of the screen, I see my total payables. And what you'll notice throughout Zoho Books is the ability to get drill down information in almost every screen. So here I can drill into more detail on my current receivables. I can do the same for my current overdue receivables. In fact, if I click on this link right here, I get a quick pop-up view of my aged receivables. Similarly, I can do that with my payables as well. There I see a pop-up of my aged payables. Going further down, I have a period review of my cash flows, my starting balances, my inflows and outflows, and ultimately my current cash flow position. Scrolling further down, I can see my income and expenses side by side. To the right here in the pie chart, I see my top expenses, and again have the ability to drill deeper into any one of those expenses and see the detail. One of the major features or modules within Zoho Books is the ability to incorporate project-based businesses where businesses will bill their customers based on projects and milestones within those projects. And finally, we see our bank feeds and credit card feeds that are automatically updated into Zoho Books. So that's kind of a quick overview of the dashboard for Zoho Books and what you'd see as you log into the application. But let's take a closer look at what it takes to integrate Zoho Books with Zoho CRM, the customer relationship management application. So it's actually quite simple. I would go over to the settings button, scroll down, and I see a very simple tab here to connect to Zoho CRM. As you can see here, this integration is already active. I see that at this point, contacts can be imported from my CRM. If the integration wasn't active at this point, it would prompt me to enter in my administrative password from the CRM application, as well as a ZSC key that can be obtained from the CRM application as well. You see the key right here. And that's really all is required. After I enter that information, the systems would be connected and you get all the benefits that we talked about in the previous slides. By default, Zoho Books is updated with Zoho CRM every 24 hours. I'm also able to do an instant sync if necessary. So let's back out to the dashboard and let's take a look at what I need to do on the Zoho CRM side. So this is how I have my dashboard set up within Zoho CRM. Of course, this is very configurable as well. But for the purposes of this session, let's take a look at integrating Zoho CRM with Zoho Books. And in this case, what we're setting up Zoho CRM to do is be able to take the feeds of financial information from Zoho Books and show that to the sales professionals. Here I would click on my Zoho apps and begin the integration process. As you can see, Zoho CRM integrates with a number of the Zoho applications, as you would expect. Here I have Zoho Invoice, Zoho Books. Zoho Invoice is an invoicing application, as the name implies. Zoho Books is more of the complete accounting application. And here again, you can see that the integration is already active between Zoho CRM and Zoho Books. Similar to Zoho Books, if it wasn't, I would be asked to enter in some administration rights from Zoho Books into Zoho CRM, as well as a key, and it's as simple as that. The applications are completely integrated, and so you're getting bidirectional communication between the two applications. So, with that, let's take a closer look at how the integration looks live. We've seen it in screenshots, but let's take a look and see what a sales rep and accounting professional would see in their respective applications. So here, I'm going into the account, the customer account for ACE Worldwide Moving and Storage. I scroll down, I see my typical information that I'd expect within a CRM, where I have the customer information, I have contact information within that customer account. I see notes related to various transactions with the customer, related to their activities with the business. So I even see potential information, so that's new business, new opportunities. But as I scroll down, you can see Zoho Books and information that's related to the customer's financials. Just to kind of check this out, just to make sure that we're solving the issue of having different data or disparate data between systems, or we're not having that problem, rather, I can go into Zoho Books, and let's take a look at, here's my contacts, and I see ACE, ACE Worldwide Moving and Storage, conveniently at the top. And let's look at the transaction data and see if we're in sync. So here, I see all my transaction data related to ACE, and similarly, this data maps one for one into my CRM application. So very, very powerful integration, very helpful for both sales reps and accounting professionals, and more importantly, it ensures data integrity between the two organizations and gives an accurate health of the overall business. So, from here, there's another scenario that we'd like to cover. Now we're going to be taking a look at an entry of a new opportunity or new potential, as it's called within Zoho CRM, for the customer ACE Worldwide Moving and Storage. Let's say that we have a $1,000 opportunity with ACE. Let's call this the large transaction, and let's aggressively say that we're going to close this this transaction tomorrow. It automatically calculates my expected revenue based on the fact that I'm in this negotiation review stage with the customer. So let's save that. And as you can see within Zoho CRM, I have my large transaction that is in this negotiation phase. And when I go back to Zoho Books and I take a look at estimates or quotes that are in the system, you'll see that this large transaction is also updated within our accounting application. In fact, I get an entire history of what is happening with this estimate, when it happened, and the fact that it was generated from the CRM system. So data integrity is intact. The estimate has been entered in both systems accurately and consistently. So let's go back and take a look at what happens when this transaction is actually closed and won. So we're going to change the stage to closed won within our CRM. We're going to save that off as well. The sales rep is ecstatic for closing this big deal with ACE. So now let's take a look at the view within Zoho Books and what the accounting professional sees for ACE moving. So looking at our invoices and taking a look at ACE, here we see that the trigger and workflows that had been set up automatically create an invoice and allow us within the finance team and accounting team to send the invoice directly to the customer, which in this case has occurred. Just to make sure that 360-degree view and data integrity is still true, we'll go back to our ACE account. And here we see that the transaction is closed won. And let's make sure that the data from Zoho Books has also come over. And there we see that the invoice has been created and sent by the accounting team, and it is also represented accurately within Zoho Books. That gives us a 360-degree view that we talked about in this screenshot, but it also gives the business the overall comfort knowing that the accounts are accurate and sound and they are in compliance. Very powerful integration, and really takes the idea of breaking down the barriers between sales and finance to the next level. That concludes our session, and hopefully you have a better idea that there's viable solutions out, not only for the largest customers, but small to medium-sized businesses that would allow you to integrate very powerfully your sales and finance applications to ensure data integrity and accurate accounts.